This is the Horse Radio Network. This is episode 77 of the Stable Scoop Radio Show on the Horse Radio Network, Cavalia. Please support our sponsors as they make this show possible. Equestrian Collections brings the whole universe of equestrian shopping to your fingertips at a price you can afford. Visit them at equestriancollections.com.
Welcome to the Stable Scoop, with weekly shows delivered right to you. With Helena and Glenn the Geek, live from the stable, it's every week. They bring you the news through hail or high water, while using their tails as their own fly swatters. So sit on down and laugh till you poop, cause it's time again for the Stable Scoop. Stable Scoop. The Stable Scoop. Stable Scoop.
This is Glenn the Geek.
And this is Helena B. And you're listening to the Stable Scoop Radio Show on the Horse Radio Network.
Well, hi, Helena.
Hello, Glenn.
I tell you what, I hear you went horse shopping. You always you shop for horses a lot.
I'm a perpetual horse shopper. I know it's worse than trying to find a husband, they tell me.
You know, there is a little black book for the perpetual horse shoppers. When we were selling horses, we hated the tire kickers, and we always wished that
I'm not a tire kicker though. I'm like ready to go. I'm ready to go.
I went did you find one?
I went for a second round on a horse I rode over the summer, and he's still for sale. And so he ended up having I think it's either a stifle issue or something, maybe in his SI joint. He just wasn't moving behind the way he should, so I had to pass on him. But he was cute and very sweet. But yeah.
So keep looking, huh?
Yeah. Well, now that we're settled in the house and things are kind of calmed down, I'm hoping that I could really hit the grindstone this spring and find something that's going to be a good fit for me.
Well, you know, you're coming down here into Kentucky in a couple of weeks. You're going to have to take a look at what's down here, too.
Yeah, as long as it's not 26 degrees down there. I'll hop on whatever you got.
We've had a lot of cold, just as much as you have this year. It's been kind of an unusual year here in the United States.
It has been an unusual year. And, it's funny because since I moved 2 hours south from my other town, north of Boston to south of Boston, I have this great website bookmarked on my computer. It's called Wonderground.
Yep, that's what I use. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And so I check the temperatures hourly between Hamilton, Massachusetts and Little Compton, Rhode Island. And there has been a difference. It's been warmer here. On average, 5 to 7 degrees warmer. So...
And we've been about 20 degrees colder.
But there was a point I was getting to, and as usual, I got sidetracked. It was warmer here in Little Compton. I forgot where I was going with that. But, so anyway, it does make the difference between those days where you just can't ride. When it's 22 degrees, I say forget it. My fingers just don't work anymore.
Right.
But if, 32 degrees, it's not so bad. So those couple of degrees do make a difference.
They make a huge difference. And I'll tell you where they make a difference, too, is in our electric bill. We were shocked when we got our last electric bill, and it was almost $300.
Holy cow.
Yeah.
You have electric, right?
Yeah, we have heat pumps down here. Down in the south here in Kentucky, gas heat is not very popular because it's more expensive than electric, which is different than up in New England where you really want gas heat.
Well, what about oil heat?
Not real popular down here. We don't have basements, and there's not a lot of place to put the oil furnace.
Oh, right.
So it's just not heard of down here. But it did encourage us to go out and get a kerosene heater, let me tell you. It's like, okay, we spent $300 on the electric bill, and we were cold the entire time because we had it set to like 64. At least now we can buy kerosene. It probably costs us the same amount, but we'll be warm. So
64, that's rough.
Yeah, that's what we had it set at. It was still almost $300. But we had temperature. There was 2 weeks there. We didn't go above 20. So, and at night it was in the single digits or below. So, that makes a difference.
Actually, that's worse than what we had here.
I know, that's what I'm saying.
We only had like 3 days of low numbers. 2 weeks. Oof.
Well, we're not here to talk about the weather. What we have a fun show planned for everybody today. But I first wanted to mention, we forget to mention this sometimes, that we had other jobs. I had another job, and you actually still have. Our co-hosts still do other things, and we forget to mention sometimes the things that they do. And you are a web developer and work on many websites for horse-related professional riders and businesses and things like that, right?
Absolutely. Yes. I got my start in this little world, this little niche, by offering business consulting services to stable managers and barn owners who were trying to make a little bit more money in the horse world. And it turned into a more creative marketing type of job. So I got a lot of projects that way. And honestly, I think horse business owners and most small business owners get the most bang out of their buck from a well-done website. And because I have a lot of experience and history designing and developing websites in the corporate world, I decided to put that knowledge to use for my fellow horse owners and barn owners. And it's really made a difference in their bottom line. So we kind of stick with that. When I talk to somebody who's struggling with their business, they ask whatever little money they do have, where should they spend it? And I always say in a website, get the most bang for your buck. So we are accepting some new projects. If you're looking to get your business out there or perhaps increase your profits a little bit, give us a call and you can visit my website at thebarnworks.com.
And it doesn't matter what size horse business they have, right?
Oh, nope. Big, large, or small. I do a fair amount of professional riders, some eventers. I do very small barns, veterinarians, a lot of horses for sale. We do videos, and we do a little bit of everything,
Cool. That's thebarnworks.com. Well, I just wanted to get that plug in there for you because we do forget to mention that, and people probably been listening for 6 months now and don't know that you have another life. And actually, that Stable Scoop show is not your entire life, Alina.
Well, sometimes I pretend it is.
Well, today I'm very excited. This is something that actually took us quite a bit to get together. They're very hard to. I had to go through several PR firms to get this interview done today, and we're just very excited that she's coming on. So tell us who we have.
The show is about Cavalia, which is an amazing performance of people and horses. We're going to highlight it. It's actually probably the most beautiful equestrian entertainment show that's ever been performed. Again, it's Cavalia, and we're going to have on with us Sylvia Zerbini. She's one of the top trainers and performers with Cavalia. She does the at liberty work with the gray Arabs that you've seen some pictures of. And we're thrilled to have her with us, and she's going to tell us all about her work with these incredible animals and what it's like to be part of the greatest equestrian entertainment show ever.
That's terrific. And Cavalia is just has some fascinating statistics. It's been traveling around the world, and people compare it to, it's like the Cirque du Soleil for the horse world.
Yeah.
They have over 35 artists, acrobats, dancers, and riders, and they come from all different countries: Australia, Belgium, Canada, France, one I can't say, Morocco, Portugal, Russia, and the United States. So they're from all over the place. They also have their own musicians. They have 5 musicians and a singer. And they have 60 horses that are representing 12 different breeds in this show. So that's a huge stable of horses. And the horses come from the Netherlands, France, Canada, Spain, United States. They're from all over the place as well. And on a yearly basis, this is fun statistics too, the horses eat 17,500 bales of hay, 36,000 pounds of grain, and 1,700 pounds of carrots. And their stable space, now keep in mind they travel, these are all tents. The stable space spans more than 16,000 square feet.
Oh, man. That's a lot of gear to truck around the U.S.
No, that's the amazing part, is their movement sort of like, the circus is sort of like Barnum Bailey,
Yeah.
It's huge.
Well, they do have a big top. It's a white big top. It's not just the show. They have the Cavalia Village, which includes 8 tents. And I think the center point of
I thought I'd give you some of the music from their website while you're talking.
Sure, to make just as long as it doesn't lull me to sleep. They have a white big top. They have something called the Rendezvous tent, a general entrance tent, 2 artistic tents, a warm-up tent, the stables, and the staff cafeteria. Now, if this were my show, the staff cafeteria would be the biggest one.
Yeah, exactly.
And it takes a lot of people to get all this stuff together. 150 people are required to put the tents up and just prep the site. And those 150 people takes 12 days to set it all up. And then, of course, when all is said and done, it takes them just 3 days to rip it down.
Yeah, we used to do shows, too, when I owned the acting company. It would take us hours to set up all the props, and boy, we get them down in 20 minutes.
Talk about being motivated. The white big top is pretty cool. It's 110 feet high, and that's the equivalent of a 10-story building. So that's no small potatoes. They have 71,000 square feet of canvas used to create the big top. And so I think the interior dimensions are 26,000 square feet, 26,000 and change square feet. So they have plenty of room to move, which is important, I think, especially for this at Liberty work that Sylvia is going to talk to us about.
And being a guy, there's something that truly fascinates me, and they have a 210-foot widescreen projection thing that serves as a backdrop for all the projections and special effects. That's 210-foot wide TV screen.
Oh, you are such a geek.
I know. And the stage is 160 feet wide, and that's the same width basically as an NFL football field. And they said they have 2,500 tons of sand and dirt, 100 truckloads to build the stage.
It makes sense now that it would take them 12 days to set all that stuff up.
100 truckloads of sand?
I'm almost surprised it only takes 12 days.
I know. That shows you how efficient they've gotten at this.
Yeah. And how many people can they squeeze in there? 2,000 and a little over 2,000 people.
That's a lot of people.
Yeah. It's really sad because when they were last in Boston, I didn't have the opportunity to go see them, and I wanted to so badly. I couldn't tell you now why I didn't go, why I couldn't go, but I've been keeping an eye on them over the last 3 years to see what cities they're appearing in next. And unfortunately, nothing's close enough to me where I can pop in, but I think they're in Miami this year, right?
Yep, they're in Miami till the middle of February. And I don't know where they go from there. I don't know if they leave the States or what happens after Miami. So I think that we'll have to ask her that and find out where she's headed after that. So I'm looking forward to talking to Sylvia, and we'll be right back with her here very shortly. First, we wanted to mention our friends at Equestrian Collections. Equestrian Collections has a new coupon code for all the Horse Radio listeners, and you can use it at checkout to get $10 off your next order of $120 or more. The coupon code is Horse Radio, all one word. Just type that in the coupon section, and they'll deduct $10 off that next order. Right now, because next week, you know what next week is there, Helena? Valentine's Day, and they have all kinds of Valentine's goodies on their homepage that you can buy for that special person in your life, or for your kids, or for your horse, whoever you want to buy that special Valentine goodie for. They have some unique ones over at Equestrian Collections, all equestrian related, of course. And also, they're having a great closeout sale right now, getting rid of some of that stuff that's been sitting around, and they have it on mega sale in their closeout section. You'll also find a link to that on their homepage. So not only can you get a discount for Horse Radio listeners by using coupon code Horse Radio, all one word, you also can buy some cool Valentine stuff and get some stuff at great discounts, from tack to clothing. Anything that you really want, they seem to have in the closeout section. So go over there and check that out with our friends at EquestrianCollections.com. And don't forget to follow them on Facebook. They have one of the most popular Facebook fan pages around. Just search for Equestrian Collections on Facebook, and I think they just went over 13,000 followers. So,
wow.
Yep, join them over there at Facebook as well. Thank you to Equestrian Collections. Well, Sylvia
Do we have followers?
Yes, we do, actually. We have thousands
How many do we
of them
have?
now. Between all the shows, yeah. And, of course, we post all of our shows on Equestrian Collections Facebook page as well. So all of her fans follow our shows as well.
And we have our own fan pages, right?
Yes, we do, for each show. So you can look up Stable Scoop and join our fan page right there.
I'm losing my geekiness.
I know. Well, you know what? Here we go. Let's talk to Sylvia Zerbini. Sylvia grew up on tour with her parents, who were acrobats, her mother performing on the trapeze, and her father training animals. At 5 years old, she was already at horseback riding, and by 10, she was up on the trapeze. At 15 years old, she began training her first Arabian horses, and 1 year later, together with animals she trained, Sylvia made her debut in the world of entertainment. In 2004, Sylvia witnessed her first Cavalia performance, and instantly she knew what she wanted and would be part of the show. 4 years later, in the company of 10 horses, she arrived at Cavalia's Equestrian Center, where she diligently perfected her work at Liberty. Now in 2010, her dreams have become reality, and she steals the Cavalia stage in what's called the Grand Liberté, in which she performs with her Arabian horses. And the pictures you see of Cavalia are mostly of her and her horses. And we'll put one of those in our show notes. It's amazing to see her with these white Arabians, 10 of them around her, as she works with them all at Liberty in the arena. And it really is the thing that steals the show. It gives me goosebumps just thinking about it.
Have you seen it?
I have seen multiple videos of it. I have not been there in person, but you can go to YouTube and look it up and find multiple videos of it as well. And it's just amazing. So let's get Sylvia on and talk about how she does it. And, and from what I hear, she's quite dynamic and loves her job. So let's try and get her on here. Well, hi, Sylvia, and welcome to the Stable Scoop Radio Show. We really appreciate you being on with us.
Oh, thank you so much. Actually, when you call, I just got off the wash rack, and I'm here in the stables with our 64 horses, and I'm looking forward to talking to you and your viewers. Well,
I'll tell you what, when you talk about getting off the wash rack, when you take a look at the pictures of you online and the videos and things, you have a lot of white horses to wash.
Well, it's my job here at Cavalia is I'm the Liberty trainer, and as you know, this is one of the most difficult disciplines to come under control with. And so I do a lot of my own, I care for my own horses, like all the brand new horses that I get into the stables. I'm the first one that washes them. I'm the first one that experiences their character. And then from there, I decide who's going to wash them. And then I decide, who's going to pick his stall, because each horse has got, their individual character, and it's really important for us to maintain that for the show.
Now, you're at Liberty Horses. You do the At Liberty show, and you're at Liberty Horses. Are they ever ridden, or are they strictly at Liberty?
No, actually, for the presentation of Cavalia, I just work them at Liberty. But I do have two in my bunch that are dressage horses that I, did do dressage work on them. And my number 3 stallion, I say number 3 because I perform 8 of them at the same time. And the third one in line, he's a dressage horse, and he does everything. I mean, he piafs, he passages, he marches.
Oh, wow.
But, I use him for Liberty.
And they're all Arabs that you work with, correct?
I work with Arabs, but I also work with 3 other Lusitano horses in what we call Liberty 2, where I present 2 horses at the beginning part. I introduce one Spanish horse, and then another one comes in, and sometimes I have a third one come in.
And where do you usually, is this sort of their first career, the horses that you have, or do they typically come from other careers and then start working with you?
Well, no, it's actually their first career. I like, in the past, I used to just get whatever horse I could get, and I would teach, Liberty, and I would spend a lot of time with them. But it seems like the more the horses went through different hands, the harder it was to get them to trust me. And it just seemed like the process was so much longer. And now what I like to do is I get babies and I send them to my farm in Ocala, Florida, and I let them grow up. And when they're about 2 to 3 years old, I bring them to on our tour. And I'll keep them for about 6 months just so they get to experience a little bit of the life, and then I'll send them back and let them grow up for another year. But I like to start working with them when they're about 3 years old.
That's a nice plan. I like to hear that you bring them on tour for a little bit, let them experience it, then send them back home and mature a little bit more. That's a very nice, well thought out, respectful plan, and I bet it shows in their personalities.
It does, and when you watch my horses perform, you can see that. They are so at ease. It's like this is their environment. This is their home. And we go to equestrian centers, or like after we're done here in Miami, I'm going to go back to the farm in Ocala, and, they'll get turned out, and they know that place because, they do grow up there, and I feel it's really important. It's really important for them to grow. They have a lot of muscles to develop, and of course, touring, we do have all, we have the warm-up arenas, and we have outdoor paddocks, but it's nothing like when they have 10 acres where they just can roam and run free and develop what they need to develop.
Is that where you call home then, Sylvia, Ocala?
Yes, I live in Ocala. We have a farm also in Montreal, in Sutton, Quebec, and that's where a lot of the training, occurs for the Cavalia horses. So we go back and forth from Montreal to Ocala.
And how long, how much of the year are you traveling? And you actually came from a traveling entertainment family as well, so.
Yes. Yeah, I'm 9 generations. My father, his first love was animals and horses. So I grew up around horses. My mother was a trapeze artist and also worked with horses, and my grandparents worked with horses. And it's just I don't ever remember not having horses in my life. I mean, growing up, we always had horses, and it's just something that I've always done.
Are you traveling a lot every year? Is it on the road all the time, or do you get some home time?
Well, we have in between two cities, like we'll finish Miami and then we will have like 2 weeks off and then we'll go to the next city. This establishment, Cavalia, is so massive. Like I said, we have 64 horses that travel with us, and it's too much of an expense for us not to work. It's a show that continually has to keep performing because of all the expense that we have with all these horses. We have a veterinarian that travels with us. We have a farrier. It's like a traveling community, you could say.
It definitely is. We were reading some of the statistics that they provided to us, and it's just amazing the coordination and effort it takes to put this on. 12 days just to set the place up. Oh,
it is. It's, because it's the horses, we all know what an expense a horse can be, so you can imagine 64, and we've got some of the, biggest breeds here, and we have to have so many, grooms. We have to have so many people that wash them for each other. Like we already started, this morning running horses and exercising, not necessarily going through the routines that we present on stage, but just the regime of, maintaining their, a lot of horses, some of them might have weak backs, so we have a special program, and we lunge them a certain way, and we harness them a certain way to maintain their muscles. And so it's a constant, we start, at 7 o'clock in the morning, and we don't get done until midnight, and this is every day. So you can imagine the cast of people that we have here.
Now,
wow.
That brings up some logistical questions. Do you get certain time each day that you can work with yours in the arena and everybody has it? Is it all divided up and that organized, or is it more of a free-for-all?
Yeah, we are organized. We have our equestrian director, which comes in the morning, and he'll have a program set up for the night before. And then, like, all the trick horses will come in and all the trick riders will come in, and each rider has their own horse, so they have that special communication with their horse. They'll come in, and there'll be a lot of walking and a lot of, supplement movements, meaning like shoulders in, and then we'll turn the horses and have them walk with their head to the left, to the right, just loosening the horse up. Then we'll do a lot of trot, walk, canter, and then they'll go in the opposite way. And then there'll be about 45 minutes of that. Then the trick horses will go to the shower, and then they'll bring the dressage horses out and do the same thing. Basically, it's all just exercise. And then I have my own area that I can run the Liberty horses, and that's all I do as well, is just run them. Run is just trot, canter, and just a lot of exercise, and I don't do any of the stuff that we do in show.
Oh, really?
That's
interesting.
Unless it needs to be rehearsed.
So what then are your challenges? You basically take the horse's environment with them. So every time you move to a new city, really not much changes for them in terms of, what they're doing or where they're doing it.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah,
so many things stay the same. What are your challenges then? What's different? What are the variables in your performance and in your training, and how are those challenging to you?
Well, the challenges of traveling, of course, we try to maintain everything the same for the horses. Once we unload them from the semis, they understand the traveling routine. They understand when we're hauling. Once we arrive, they understand. They get walked. They understand the bandages come off. They go to the shower. They all get rinsed. It's the feed times are all the same. It's the same hay. We have our hay imported from Canada, so they're always on the same kind of hay. It's always the same horses that are next to the same one, so they always have their neighbors. We feel that that's really important as well. Huh. We try to pick horses that get along real well, and we keep them side by side. That helps a lot when they come into the stables after a long journey. They relax right away. So as far as the stabling and the exercise program, there's no challenges because we really try and focus on keeping everything as comfortable for the horses as possible without any stress. The performance part, what gets really challenging is having to do performances every day. We get 1 day off a week. I, on the other hand, have horses that I can alternate, like not in the big Liberty, but in the smaller Liberty where I work 1 or 2 horses. You know, there'll be just some shows where they absolutely just don't feel like it, or it's a challenge because I need to make them like, you know, it's their space and it's also my space, and we need to try to work together to create one space. So this part does some challenging because I can't make it like work for them. If they think it's going to be work, they'll be totally annoyed with me, and they'll want it because they're not in the mood to begin with. You know, they'll run away from me.
That's Sylvia, good to hear.
You know, Sylvia, I got to say, it's probably the same way for you. I owned an acting company. We did shows for 10 years. We did 450 shows. There were just some nights we walked out there and we just didn't feel like being there. So there's got to be those evenings for you, too, where you're going, can I do this again?
Yes, and you know, but what's great with the horses is because, you know, I was an aerialist and a trapeze artist forever, and I know exactly what my horses are going through. And then sometimes I will just completely do something completely different where I find my horses looking at me like, what are you doing? You know? And they become very inquisitive. And then since I'm working with so many of them, that when I do, like, I'll start to ignore them, or I'll go to a different horse that I never go to, and they'll all come over and they'll look at me like, why aren't you coming to me? Why aren't you asking me to do something? So there's a lot of psychology involved, and I kind of get their mood and their brain to a different area. And then it just becomes more interesting for them, and then I start to make it fun. And, you know, sometimes instead of running around one way, I'll just ask them to go the opposite way. And then they're all like, you know, they're snorting, and they're like, what is she doing? And they, you know, and it seems to help, and I do that. You can watch my Liberty horses, and you'll never see one show the same. It's continuously changing.
And now, your training techniques, is there somebody you aspire to or that you modeled after in training them from the time they were babies up?
You know, there's so many trainers out there with different techniques. You know, I have to say that, you know, since a young age, I've always worked with horses, and really my time has been so, like, controlled, meaning my times were like, you know, at 7 o'clock I had to do this, and by 8:30 I had to be finished, and I had to be already starting here. You know, I have 17 horses that I work now every day. So you can imagine putting 20 minutes to a half hour on each horse, how long that takes you.
Yeah.
And then you also have a performance. You also have to get ready for the performance. So my life has always been like that. So I have to say that my technique comes from my horses. I've learned to listen to my horses. I've learned how they behave. I learned how they feel, and it's just, I've learned how to share my space with them, I could say. And I think my technique, you know, my horses are continuously teaching me something every day. There's something that I'll notice that, wow, I didn't really notice that before, how they, you know, interact with each other. And I really, really believe that in all of us, that if we just really listen to them, we can understand what they're telling us.
Now, I love the fact, I love to hear that you have, I mean, I know it's hard too, that you have such a regimented life with them, and it's important that that exists that way. But do they ever surprise you?
You know,
do they ever catch you? You mean you catch them off guard? Do they get you too?
Yes, definitely. You know, but I expect it from some of them. You know, it's like they surprise me sometimes. But if there's anybody that's going to surprise me, I could pick out the ones that are going to surprise me, and 99% of the time I'll be right on the money.
So you have class clowns then?
I was going to say, you probably have a lot in common with a kindergarten teacher.
Yeah, that's right.
It's exactly the same. I relate to my horses like kids because, I have a 17-year-old daughter and, and they're characters for my horses. I can have some of them that remind me of some of my friends, the way they act. There's some that are really insecure. There are some that are just so full of themselves. And, there's some that are followers. There's some that are just leaders. And once you learn their characters and you understand the way that they're thinking, it's pretty amazing how they are. I cannot imagine life without my horses.
How long have you been working with Cavalia?
I've been working with them for about 1.5 years now.
And what'd you do before that?
Before that, I worked in different shows and presented my trapeze and Liberty horses. Okay. And I worked in Europe a lot, and I was on different shows, and I did a lot of equine affairs and stuff like that.
And having done performing, I know that, we talked about how there's some nights you go out there and you're just not into it, not as into it as you should be. Yet, I'll tell you what happened for me every time was once you were in front of the audience, that all changed, and I'm sure it's that way for the horses as well.
You know it's true. You come on stage, you can feel like you're not in the best of mood. You might be a little bit sick, and and you come on stage and you don't know what your horses are going to present to you. And I come on stage sometimes, and then it's just like everything disappears. We enter this different world, and I just forget everything. And I think the horses do as well. I try to make everything really fun for them. And when I'm on stage, when I see their personality shine, and some of them, how they just love to perform, and some of them are just really hams or clowns, and that just takes my mood to a different level, and it's really a pleasure. I don't get many of those shows where I'm just not in the mood. I can do, but as soon as I'm on stage, that all disappears.
Yeah, I think you have to be a performer and have experienced that to truly understand the power and the energy you get from the audience.
Well, that's a good question too. Is do your horses feed off of that? Do they subtly interact with the audience?
Well, I think in my training a lot of energy is used. I'm working with stallions, and sometimes I'll have some stallions that are very challenging, and they'll come in and they'll have the over me. Their energy level will be so high and they'll be so dominant. And then, it's up to me, of course, to maintain a normal flat energy. If I become too strong with them, they become too strong. If my energy is too low, they become too low. And with the energy of the audience, when the horses do enter the stage, their energy is high already. So for me, it's really on controlling them and bringing their energy down to an equal energy from all of us. But I have to say that energy is a big part of horses' behavior, even between each other.
And are you still doing the trapeze at all, or still flying high?
No, I don't do trapeze work anymore, but sometimes if we have a bunch of girls that get sick, I did rehearse and learn their part, so in case somebody were to get sick, that I could take their place.
Do you miss the trapeze, or does that get harder the older you get, too?
Of course it does. The flexibility is not like it used to be, and the trapeze work is, something that you have to train, and you have to prepare yourself all the time. And the time between the horses now that I'm training and preparing, I just wouldn't have the time for myself to present any type of aerial work.
Do you ever see yourself not traveling with the show, not entertaining?
I can see myself without traveling or entertaining, but I cannot see myself without horses.
Yeah, that's just not an option. I can. It's so funny because I can feel your energy coming through the phone. I used to laugh and poo-poo at those psychics who say they can do these readings from across the world and across the phone. But for the first time I've ever spoken with anybody who's been involved with horses from such a distance, I can feel this energy from you that I cannot put it to words, but it makes me want to go and sit down in the front row of a Cavalia show and just watch.
You know what? It's Cavalia is like no other show that I've ever seen. It's, the first time I seen it was in 2004, and I was performing on another venue, and I had some friends actually that were performing at Cavalia, and they had invited me to see the show. And I've been to Monte Carlo. I've performed for the Prince. I've performed for many stars. I've been to different venues and galas, and I've seen a lot of shows throughout Europe, throughout the world. And when I seen Cavalia and I sat down for the first time, it was honestly the first show that just took me to a different place. I just sat there, and from the beginning to the end, and of course I'm a horse trainer, I'm a horse lover, and, but still it's just a feeling that you cannot describe, and you have to see it to understand what I'm telling you. It's really an incredible show. The horses, the way that they are at home and the way that they present themselves on stage in the most natural way possible, it's just amazing to see how human-like they are.
And that's what I think impresses horse people. I mean, you know how hard we are to impress. But when friends of mine who've gone to see the show, and all the feedback I've heard about the show is what you're seeing is how it could be for all of us. And in talking to you and hearing your standards and your training methods and your philosophies, that you can achieve such amazing things with your horses without pain, without discomfort, without stress, without fear. It's something I think a lot horse people from all different kinds of disciplines and backgrounds can aspire to.
I have to tell you, and I really believe in any discipline, not just in performing horses, but in any discipline, the horse's mental capacity is the number one tool. Once, before you do any type of work, if it's dressage, jumping, halter class, I think a horse's mental state has to be worked on before anything else. And that is one of our key tools here at Cavalia, to be able to present our horses, in front of thousands of people every night and do a show, and we work 365 days a year. I mean, we can't stop. We have to continue performing. And in keeping our horses' minds as comfortable and their power as comfortable as possible, they just seem to give us so much more. If our horse's mental state is relaxed and comfortable with their environment, they will pretty much do anything for you.
I think one of the cool things your show does, too, is that it exposes people who are not horse people to the horse world. And I think that's one of the biggest benefits of the show. We're all horse people. We appreciate the horse already, and we love the show. But I think what you're doing for people that aren't horse people and exposing them is one of the greatest benefits of Cavalia.
Yeah, no, you're definitely right. We have a lot of audience members that come and, they don't know anything about horses, and they do leave with a different respect, for them, and never knew. I get so many people that come and talk to me and just had no idea how horses' personalities, how they were. They're like, they were comparing them to dogs and cats, and they were just so amazed on seeing them, how comfortable they were in performing and what they were able to accomplish with really hardly any guidance.
Well, that's fantastic. We I know we're running out of time, and you have more horses to work today. And we just gave. Actually, we talked for about a half an hour, so one of them got the day off.
Yeah,
that one can thank us later.
Out the ones that I don't work, I make sure that they have extra outdoor paddock time.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Now, I did want to ask, you're showing Miami through the middle of February. Is there an announcement of where you're going after that, or?
We are supposed to be going to Tampa. They extended our tour here in Miami until the 14th of February.
Right.
And then we're supposed to have 10 days of rest time for the horses, where we'll turn them out we'll go to Ocala and bring them to the Equestrian Center and let them be horses. And then we'll open up in Tampa.
Okay, so you're going to be in Tampa for a while then?
Yes.
Well, that's
and
great.
how many different locations will the show do each year?
Oh my gosh, we do about, I want to say 5 to 6 cities a year.
Okay, because
and it's all in the United States, or do you do Canada too?
We go to Canada, too. Like last March, we were in Montreal. So we've done since April, let's see, June, March. Wait, I'm confused here. Since April, we started in Montreal. We went to Washington, D.C. We did Chicago, Atlanta, and now we're here in Miami. So we average about 5 cities.
Okay.
Tell me, go ahead, Helena.
No. So Miami is the last show of this series, or do you know?
We continue on. We just
to Tampa next.
We're done in Miami. Yeah, then we go to New York.
That's what I want to hear. Someplace close to me. Sorry, I really should just touch the chase.
After Tampa, then we go to New York. Then I think we go to Ottawa, Canada.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
And then we're supposed to go to Abu Dhabi in Saudi Arabia.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
Yeah, the prince came to our show, and he fell in love with it, and he wants to bring it there. So this is something that we might be doing in the near future.
You're going to need trucks and trailers with pontoons on them.
I know. They actually wanted us to go there after Miami, but at this time of year, it's just too hot.
I hope that do you get a little bit of downtime? Have you at least gone to the beach in Miami and said hello to the ocean while you're there?
Well, it seems like every dark day that we have is our Monday, and every Monday's been raining since I've been here.
No.
Yeah, so yesterday I drove by to check on the horses, and they were outside in the paddock, and they were just having a blast. They were rolling and making mud baths, out in the rain. So they had a great time, and we kind of stayed in our apartment and didn't do so much yesterday.
Yeah, I bet you by your day off, you're ready to just crash. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're exactly right. It's like we have no energy to do anything else.
Well, Sylvia, hold on here one second. Just want to tell everybody that we really appreciate you being on with us, and this has been a lot of fun. We could talk to you all day, but I know you do have to get back to work, and we just encourage everybody. You can check out the website at Cavalia.net. That's Cavalia.net. They have a great website, and you see some fantastic pictures of Sylvia on there as well. So we really appreciate you being on, and we hope to see you in person sometime.
Oh, thank you so much, and I hope you do get a chance to come to Cavalia. It is such a great show to see and see all our wonderful horses.
All right, great.
Yeah, do you have any idea when you're going to be in New York?
No, probably, not for another 5 months.
Yeah, I was going to say 4 or 5 months.
All right, just so I know to keep my eyes open. Okay.
Yeah. Well, Sylvia, that was great. We really appreciate you being on, and that was just a lot of fun.
Oh, it was a pleasure talking to you both.
And we'll definitely look you up and hopefully get to see you in person when you head up this way again.
Oh, excellent. It was really nice speaking to you, and you have a good day.
Okay,
you
thanks,
too.
Sylvia.
Thanks so much, Sylvia.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Well, that's fun, huh?
I could have gone on and on and on and on.
I know that she's just she was so much fun. The PR people said she's going to be the one to have on because if you're talking to horse people, she just she spends so much time with these horses and training them and working with them that she would be the one to speak with, and they were correct.
And I love I just love her philosophy about letting the horses be horses. And it's nice to hear that they have paddock time and that she keeps their routine the same. It just sounds like they're doing all the right things, and it must be showing in the horse's performance.
Yeah, I'm sure it is. And she was great to have on. And of course, they have, a ton of other performers. She's only one of many. But as I said, her portion of the show tends to be the most popular because it is the at liberty work, and that's always beautiful, and especially with the white Arabians that she has. The grays. I mean, I call them white because they are white. I mean,
I know. There's a point where they're so white that you can call them white.
I mean, that's correct. And I always get, we're probably going to get emails. You called them white, they're gray. Well, these are white. You know what?
Exactly. I know.
We've owned gray horses.
So. Yes, I know they're gray, which means I can call them white.
That's exactly right. Well, that was fun. I'm so glad that she had the opportunity to come on, and it was so neat to hear the horses in the background, too.
Oh, I love how she stopped to yell at them.
Well, Helena and I are going to be right back here right after this word about Amazon. Glenn the Geek here, and we get many emails every week from people who really like the shows, and they ask how they can help support the Horse Radio Network. Well, you already do that by listening to the shows and by buying from all of our fantastic sponsors. And now you can add to that by supporting us directly and very easily. The next time you need something from Amazon, just go to any of our websites and click on the Amazon banner in the middle of the page. Then go on and buy your Amazon items. It won't cost you a penny more, just an extra click. But Amazon gives us a little bit back just because you clicked on the banner. Tell your family and friends to do the same thing. Every little bit helps us to keep giving you the quality equestrian programming that you have come to love. Thanks for listening. Well, Helena, this has been a lot of fun. And, of course, next week we have one of our favorite shows every year is our Equine Love Valentine's episode.
Yay!
I can't believe it's Valentine's Day already. But, next week we're going to talk all about equine love. Actually, the people who love equines, I think, is going to be more the way to do
we
that.
We can talk about love, too. It's all love.
It's all love. Yeah,
love is love.
Love show. It's
doesn't matter what kind of love you're feeling. We want to hear about it.
And, things like that. We're going to have to, I think that's going to be a good wine day.
That's what I need, an excuse to have a glass of wine on the show.
And, of course, we record this early in the day, but it's after 5 somewhere. So
I don't care. It just has to be afternoon.
And then after that, the Horse Husbands episode is back for the second year. So that'll be a lot of fun. And then a Desperate Horsewives will follow that.
Yes. Right,
so we just have a great month planned. It's just going to be, enjoyable this month. We're not covering a lot of serious anything. So if you want serious shows, just tune out for the month of February. If you want some entertainment and a whole lot of laughter, then the month of February is for you. It's interesting. I had somebody yesterday say that Stable Scoop is like the Car Talk of the horse world.
I love that show. What a compliment.
I know. I was so flattered by that. Those two are the funniest on the air.
Oh, I love that show.
Frickin' Frack. Or what is it?
Clack. Click and Clack.
Click and Clack. That's right. Click and Clack, the Tappet brothers. And up there from your neck of the woods in Harvard Square.
They are so smart, too. They are so smart.
And funny. Just fun. Even if you don't give a crap about cars, listen to that show. And that was what this person said was interesting. They said, well, even if you don't care about horses, Stable Scoop's entertaining. And I said, well, that's a big compliment.
Cool.
Yeah, that's a big compliment.
Now give us some money.
So we're looking forward to what's coming up here. And, of course, you can find all the show notes for our show at stablescoop.com. Links out to the Cavalia site. Please do go check it out. They have a beautiful site and a lot of good information on there. And they have videos of them doing their thing. And there's a ton of them over at YouTube as well. So you can stop over there and check them out. And, of course, you can follow us on Twitter at Horse Radio. And you can follow Helena at
Helena_BEE.
Helena B. And we would like to thank our sponsors, Equestrian Collections, for being part of this show today. And, we know Chris over to Equestrian Collections, she's the kind of person that would absolutely enjoy Cavalia as well. So, because we love horse entertainment. And it was interesting to hear that, she really started, I would assume, on the circus side doing shows. If she was doing trapeze and things, and then got to do some really neat things for some very important people. So that's just really cool.
Well, she said 9 generations of these artists,
performers.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it is. And you know what? It's just amazing, too, that she was able to transfer what she learned from her parents to the horses. And, of course, her dad trained animals of all kinds. So she just fell in love with the horses and what she could do with the horses. And that's just really neat.
It's a passion, when you are raised in a world and a family that is expressive and passionate. It almost just makes sense.
And having a little bit of an experience with the traveling performer in my life, if you grew up as a traveling performer, it does not leave your blood. We talk about gypsies, quote unquote, and
I would love to. I always wanted to be a gypsy.
Did you?
Oh my gosh! When I was a little kid, I wanted to be a gypsy. I would do the scarves around my head, and I would dance and sing and make up all kinds of spells and potions. And
I can see that actually.
I thought they were just, and I still have a spot in my heart. That's why I say this passion and expression. Like, go out there and find something that you love. People, be passionate about it, and it will pay you back tenfold in joy.
Well, we did Renaissance fairs. That's where I met my wife. We were both performing at the Pennsylvania Renaissance Fair, and we did Renaissance fairs for a couple of years and then had our own acting company. But the people at the Renaissance fairs tend to be gypsies that travel to fair to fair to fair, and it gets in your blood. I still miss it. We did it for 10 years, 450 shows, and I still miss that. I still miss putting on the costume and the sword and all that stuff. It does get in your blood, and that travel gets in your blood too.
Yeah, and the connection that you have with like she said, it's you're taking this community who's very tightly built, tightly woven, and you're picking up and moving it from place to place, and it really just reinforces the connection and the bonds that you have with your extended family.
And it does become a family. I can attest to that. You really do become close to the people that you travel with. Yeah. And you have to. I mean, you don't have much choice either. That's the other thing. You're living in very close quarters most of the time. Well, this has been great. I've just thoroughly enjoyed this. There's nothing that I like better than talking about entertainment. And then when you wrap entertainment around horses, it just is perfect. So thank you for indulging me, everybody, and Helena, for this little fantasy of mine to get somebody from Cavalia on.
Yeah, we just got to get there. I know. Keep checking their website. They do kind of keep it a little bit of a mystery. I know
that, which is weird.
It is kind of weird because she implied that they're going to be in New York, and then hopefully, it might not be a done deal, but I'm going to keep my eyes open for their schedule, see when that pops up.
Well, it sounds good. If you go to the one in New York, we'll just have to fly up and join you.
Yeah, sure. They were here in Boston just a few years ago, so I don't think Boston's going to be on their schedule again. But she said New York, so I'm guessing that they would do Madison Square Garden.
You would
I don't know where else they would do it unless they did like the Meadowlands or something.
I don't know where they need enough room to put all those huge tents up.
Yeah.
Huh. Well, great, Helena. I'll tell you what, we got to get out of here. People are tired to listen to us jabber on about entertainment and Cavalia, I think, at this point. And they're really waiting for us to come back with Equine Love next week. I have to get all the sappy music ready and get all that
I'll get the wine and chocolate.
You get the wine and chocolate. I'll get the sappy music and the roses.
Okay.
All right.
And who are we having on?
I have no idea. No, actually,
see, that's payback for the blooper reels.
Actually, I'm holding off telling who's going to be on because the Equine Love has sort of become a tradition.
All right, fine.
So I'm sort of holding off telling everybody, but just join us. It'll be fun. We promise.
Whatever.
Well, be sure to visit all the other great shows on the network at horseradionetwork.com. And we'll be back again next week. Helena?
With the scoop.
Oh, you can do better than that. It's the Love Show. We'll be back again next week, Helena.
With the Love Show. I can't say that. That's too cheesy.
With the Love Scoop? That would be bad, wouldn't it?
Love Scoop with a scoop of love.
With a scoop of love. Okay. We'll be back again next week, Helena.
With a scoop of love.